bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Hello and welcome, Patriots, to Patriots Across the Pond. We are here today, Midweek Metals with Matt Geiger, and this is episode 14. Hey, guys.
Good to see you. Good to be back.
Every time I see you, Matt, I'll just get you in a thought. I just can't stop going, fucking Dana.
Fucking Dana.
Yeah.
I let it fly here, too, sometimes. Me and Scott will be here, and I'll just say that, hey, stop barking. But no, good to be with you guys, and I miss you already.
Yeah, same as that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So might as well start off with what's going on in the money markets and metal markets.
Yeah, gold and silver have been pushing up a little bit. Nothing new. Not a big deal. I mean, it's a few bucks. We're sitting, I think, right now around 88. So we're up about $8 in the last 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Gold's up to about 4,700. Premiums are still relatively low, so we're not seeing any crazy premiums yet. It just seems like something big is brewing. The whole situation with Iran, I think it signals a monetary system change. I think we're moving out of the petrodollar, and we're moving to some type of sovereign money. Seems like Trump's got control of Cuba, Venezuela, Greenland, most likely Mexico. He just made a big deal with Japan. Japan's going to be buying their oil from the United States. Lot of things shifting. This should signal that there's a big economic shift that's occurring. And it's tough because we don't really know what's happening behind the scenes, and certainly the media is not going to report it. Why? Because it make Trump look good. But he even said the other day, he's like, yeah, hey, our gas price is going to stay high. He's like, yeah, they're going to be high for a little bit, but hey, the trade-offs. Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb. And in turn, he's probably going to start bringing down the cost of things. Once energy prices drop, the cost of everything else will drop. So that'll be good for everybody, no matter whether you're in gold or silver. Just the cost of goods and services are going to start going down. So it's a transition, man. We're going through it. We've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Although
everyone should keep their eyes on where Nick Shirley is, because he was in Cuba.
Yeah, he's in Cuba. Yeah, follow Nick Shirley. He's like Waldo, right? It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Although it is kind of misleading, because when you consider that our oil really doesn't depend on the Strait of Hormuz or anything, like, are people putting that together? Like,
I hope
why
so.
are gas prices higher? No.
Yeah, well, these gas stations, they have a monopoly on this stuff, so they all work in lockstep, and they keep the prices high.
Yeah.
It was like, when the Walmart and all these other places, they were keeping their prices high, even though the cost of energy went down. They're just doing it to take a jab at Trump. These are all deep state corporations, including especially the oil companies. So if you go to ExxonMobil or Getty or Shell, this is the cartels. You're dealing with the cartels.
I just wonder, though, how much is really still under their control, or how much is being played out to be under their control for the normie population. Because I find it kind of hard to believe that if the head of the snake was taken off, we've got people like the Rothschilds, selling their houses and, dying and all this other nonsense that we've seen over the last number of years. You got to wonder who's really in charge of the
100%.
Right?
I think the white hats are in control. I believe that. I think they're in control of precious metals prices, right? We've discussed that on the show before. I think they're in total control. As far as that's concerned, I think right now there's a big window of opportunity, even at these prices, to get involved. I don't know what prices are going to look like in a week or a month or a year, but I would confidently say that they're probably going up, and probably going up very significantly.
Yeah. I mean, look, we talk a lot about full control, and I believe that Patriots are 100% in full control. But there's still things going to happen. But also, you can still have a lot of the swamp left. If you cut the head off a snake and you've got all the lower level criminals and they're taking people out, and I know we've got all these sealed indictments, how much of this cabal do you think is still left out there that hasn't yet been cleaned up? And not low level criminals, people that have real positions of power that can pull off a false flag or anything like this.
Well, I think you have, at the federal level, I think you have a lot of control, or total control, from the white hats. But I think once you start getting these more local levels, it's much harder to get control. So I think there are some places that are out of control. So like I would look to the story that happened, I don't know, a month or two ago, where they sent in people here to Arizona, downtown, to get the 300,000 phony ballots that they put in there for Biden. That was a real story that really happened.
Yeah.
So maybe Arizona is now under control, whereas, I don't know, New York or California is much harder to kind of get your hands around. And those could be the states that at the very end cause the most problems. They could be the ones, as they say, watch the water. Maybe that has to do with the idea of, hey, these coastal cities like New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco, these could be the places where they pull off a lot of the last gasp of breath from the deep state.
So do you think some of these places like, Fulton County and stuff like that have got ballots that they're going in and subpoenaing and taking in these ballots, do you think they've actually abided by the law and kept these ballots? Or do you actually think the White House had these ballots a long time ago? But
I think the latter.
Now?
Yeah, the latter. I think you needed to capture them in the crimes, just crime after crime after crime. Because at the end of the day, we didn't really have Biden in office, did we? We had continuity of government, and realistically, it was better off letting them steal the election, letting them show their hands and show off their fraud and what they wanted to do, so that could be eventually exposed to the American people. Mm-hmm. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the American people, including conservatives, don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, well, we had that spacecraft go up, didn't we, for 809 days, wasn't it? 17 that was meant to be monitoring all these elections and the midterms and stuff. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we know that also that when they were counting the votes in Serbia, Juan talks about this, is that building that they were committing the fraud in the country of Serbia, of all places, is very far out information. But John Brennan was half owner of that building. He was one of the owners of that building that they committed that fraud in. So he should be one that everybody should be watching in the news. Follow the Brennan story.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone's watching Fauci as well now because of statute of limitations ran out in May, and Dave Newstreet talks about this a lot, that they're going to let this go so that it comes into the narrative more. And you've got Rand Paul, and you've got this FDA whistleblower now in there. I've just been watching this today. Everything is being seeded into the public narrative when the hammer goes down.
Yeah, well, this hantavirus, this absurd, virus that they're starting to say, it's the new pandemic. They'll probably try to pull another pandemic on us. They're going to try. They're going to do their best, but it's going to fall short. Yeah,
well, that hantavirus, just quickly, you've got that one video that the mainstream media put out, and that guy in green reading from the script, so liberal. Everyone's digging into him now. He was also in hospital with COVID. He was pushing the jabs and all that.
Crisis actor, yeah. Central casting.
Yeah, exactly. Lisa?
Yeah, I just, I think what I'm thinking about is this Sunday, right? This day of prayer and rededicating our country and all of that. But so I feel like people are looking towards that as something big, and I just feel like optically it's not going to be much. However, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes that coordinate with that day, right? As always.
It's only Wednesday.
What?
It is only Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the news tends to drop these days on Fridays.
Yeah. Tuesdays and Fridays, I've found a lot of big stories come out. I've been watching this, and then it's Sundays, nothing goes on, really.
We're kind of just in this like weird holding period. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, yeah, it's like we know stuff's going on and we know that we're advancing. It's just what's really happening behind the scenes, and it's we'll never be able to guess. But I'm confident. I don't stress about this stuff. I just my day to day is just getting people prepared, getting their money prepared for whatever's coming. That's pretty much all I can do.
Yeah.
Right. We just got back from Vegas. We went to Scott and I went to the Mary Crowley event over the weekend, which was a lot of fun.
I was going to ask you about that because we're obviously talking about doing new events, and you've been to this one. I've seen a couple of your videos out there and since. And what was that experience like for you? Because there was a lot of different faces at that one, wasn't there?
It was a small event, kind of Lloyd Brunson was there. I got to hang out with Lloyd. I had dinner with Lloyd. He's doing well. He's got his second edition of his Constitution book, which I would recommend everybody go and get. He will teach you the Constitution in that book better than anybody. Got to spend some time with him. Saw Mark Messina. Mark's hilarious. What a great guy.
Yeah.
Who else? Hung out with Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott Young. Yeah, he's going to be working with us, so that's awesome to have him on board. He's got a great audience. He probably knows more about gold and silver and history than I do. The guy's just a wealth of knowledge. Had a great time with him. We did dinner. Saw Lewis Herms. Spent some time with him. He had the campaign bus there. I'm really hoping he can pull off a miracle on June 2nd in the primaries. Because that's what they're doing in California right now is they're voting on the primaries to see who can actually advance to the election.
Yeah.
And it's just been so unfair because it's like he's just been completely ignored and brushed under the rug. And then meanwhile, you have these other candidates like Steve Hilton and that other clown, Sheriff, whatever his name is.
Arpaio or something?
Bianco?
No, Arpaio's out here. Whatever his name is. These guys are literally Bianco, Chad Bianco. Yeah. These guys are just copying what Lewis is doing.
Yeah.
Just copying everything on his campaign platform and just telling people what they want to hear. These guys are not qualified. Hilton or Bianco. These guys are clowns. They're operatives. And it's unfortunate because it's like I've worked, I would say pretty hard in raising money for Lewis and trying to get him, because it's tough because I run my business and, trying to put time and effort into, getting his campaign up and running. It's tough to do, but I did. And I raised him some significant money. And I know he's grateful for it. And I just hope that, even if he doesn't win in this election, hopefully, it sort of carves out a space for him where, he's got I certainly think he's at the very least got a future in politics, whether it be California politics or maybe even national politics.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's interesting because we had Lewis on yesterday.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, and he was saying that he wasn't included in some of the polling.
It's bullshit.
And it's just being censored and stuff. But
and then when they do independent polls, just based on the issues, he wins.
Yeah,
hands down, it's a no-brainer. But sorry, Stu, go ahead. I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, that's obviously why they're hiding the polls. But we were talking about Steve Hilton and asked him two things. Number one, why has Trump endorsed Steve Hilton? And it's very much still a two-party system, isn't it? And he said, what these whiteouts are doing, they are going to destroy the Democratic Party first, but obviously they're going to destroy the Republican Party afterwards or in the meantime and stuff like that. But it's interesting now that I didn't realise that Steve Hilton worked a lot in the UK with David Cameron and stuff. So it's interesting. These stories are coming out when Trump pushes people into the spotlight front and centre like he did with Fauci.
Yeah, David Cameron is one of the biggest scumbags to ever walk the planet.
Pig fucker.
And exactly. And you look at these people. And it's like, these are the people you have running for California. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is this a joke? So, California is so far gone. I mean, the fraud and corruption going on there. I mean, it's beyond people's wildest dreams. I mean, I was watching something last night about the homeless crisis out there, and man, they have just absolutely taken that money that they've been getting. What's his name? Spencer Pratt. He talked about, the money from the fires, the Palisades fires back in January. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars. People got nothing from it. It was all looted. It was all stolen.
Awful. So,
I mean, talk about sick. California's just, I mean, put it this way. I do not envy Lewis for what he's doing. I respect the hell out of him for it, but I don't envy him because that's going to be a huge task. And you might need the military to go in there and clean house. You may not even have a candidate that can even do it. You may just need to go send in the military and just arrest everybody. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, the way I look at Lewis's campaign and, the fact that he was banned forever for life on Wikipedia, and they're just giving him such a runaround, with, well, you have to have this certain amount, in order to qualify for this, but then, whatever. It's just so blatant. However, his plan for what he wants to do as governor, especially when it relates to some of these key issues, child, sex slavery, the fraud that's going on, I think that's going to go forward no matter what. In other words, I think a lot of what he's trying to do is more of a we the people grassroots thing. And hopefully he gets in. Obviously, we're all rooting for him and supporting him, but I'm going to be as bold as to say, I don't think it matters, because if he doesn't get in, he still has built such a little army of support and building a template for how to fix a lot of these issues that I think it's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't happen officially the way it needs to, but I think the white hats are getting a little sick and tired of people, not only that they're not awake, but when they start to awaken, they're not doing a freaking thing. So just like with income taxes, right? I don't think they're going to hand that to us on a silver platter. It's like, everybody, are you aware? Are you aware that it's voluntary? Are you aware that it's unlawful? And until people start actually stepping up and saying, you know what, we got to take matters into our own hands, I just believe that they're going to keep pushing this. That's why it's getting painful.
Totally agree with that. And furthermore, I could see a scenario where there is no election in California. They just cancel the elections. They just say to hell with it. And maybe in certain parts of the country, they do stuff like that. Somebody brought that to my attention the other day, and I had thought about it prior to that, but I could definitely see a scenario where California, it's going to take them 6 months to count the ballots. That's their strategy.
Right.
It gets out of the news cycle, people move on, and then a couple months later, they announce the winner of their choosing, and that's it. That's the election.
Yeah.
Maybe that could trigger the military. Maybe that would trigger the military to say, "Hey, no, this was done illegally. This is illegitimate. We, the federal government, need to step in here." In California, how many trillions of dollars over the years have they taken in federal aid, both for Medi-Cal, right? Yeah. These Democrats say, "Oh, the federal government doesn't spend money on illegals' healthcare." Yeah, they do. They push it through using the Medi-Cal program. I saw it firsthand when I lived in Los Angeles. Illegals get free health care, and then you're paying for health insurance, and you're paying out of pocket, even with insurance. It's sick. We know the story.
And with the with the insurance, your deductibles. I mean, there's like $11,000 deductible amounts for families. I mean, I don't use insurance anymore. I use a health share. I use Impact Health. And so, my total deductible for my family is $2,500. That's reasonable, right? You got 3 people, 4 people. But with these insurance and the marketplace, I mean, if you really sit and think about how much they have had to, these people that complain about how things aren't happening fast enough, they have their heads up their butts because they don't understand the extent of the fraud and the money laundering and all the other horrible things that they're doing to children. Like, it's so rampant. And I don't know what will wake people up, but I think that's why it has to get really painful.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So you think we'll be having a big scare event, do you? A gut punch, a near-death experience, or whatever Juan talks about, you know?
I would think so. It's the way it's got to be, right?
I believe it's got
and it'll
to
be financial too. It's going to come down to the financial. The financial is what motivates people.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely. You know, you do believe, don't you, that this long drawn out process of awakening is ultimately, when this scare event happens, all this shit goes down. That's why
I like yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, there's not enough people to come out and push this civil war, this mass well, you know what I mean, I can't think of the word. I want civil unrest. Yeah,
there's got to be a little bit of that. And this is why I don't even watch the news anymore. Like, I couldn't tell you what's really going on out there right now. I have no idea, nor do I even really care. You know, I just kind of stay in my lane and, you know, work with the people that call me. You know, I get to deal with Patriots all day, so it makes life fun. Got some coming out from some of the events. I got one coming to visit me, a client of mine, who she was at she wasn't at our event, she was at Threadfest.
Okay.
Gunnell's event back in whatever it was 2 months ago in Dallas. But yeah, you know, I just focus on my doggies, like this guy right here, little River.
Aww.
Hi, River. Say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, is that the lady that posted a comment when you were talking to Joe and Scott on their last show?
That what?
Is that the lady that posted a comment when you were talking to Joe and Scott on your last show that said
that's Carol. Carol is a dear friend. She's out in Costa Rica.
Oh no, it wasn't Carol Maureen. It was like someone posted a comment and said, "I'd like to get
yeah. My buddy Andy. He and I became really good friends. He lives actually a couple miles that way. He met me on the Unity tour because we sponsored Lewis's Unity tour back in 2024. And he was a client, and we wound up, you know, he's into shooting and I'm into shooting, so we wound up going to the same range, and we still go to this day. You know, we do. Andy's kind of mentored me in long range shooting. You know, where you're shooting out a mile or two. It's not easy, but he knows what he's doing. He's taught me a lot about it.
Yeah. Wow. But that's really cool. But it does feel like, even like today as we're talking, do you feel like it feels very like blah? Does anybody else feel that? Like, there's nothing really that usually we get on here and there's like excitement. I feel like there's a blahness out in the ether these days.
It feels like a calm before a storm.
Yes.
Sort of a feeling.
Maybe. I mean, we've been busy, but yeah, I could see what you're talking about. We were really burnt out yesterday because we've been, you know, Scott and I have been on the road between Dallas, New York, and Vegas. You know, it's just nice to come home and, you know, kind of relax. So yeah, there has been kind of that blah. I don't know if it's what you're talking about or if it's just we're exhausted and
tired.
Yeah, a lot of, and I did the driving to Vegas, so that's a 4.5 hour drive, and I'm not really one for long drives, but I pulled it off.
Yeah. That is. But did you go? So I've done the drive from LA, and that's a beautiful drive where you go through the desert.
Yeah.
Going to Vegas, but I never did it from where you guys are, like Arizona north.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the desert.
That way too, yeah.
And you'd be surprised. There's a lot of green. There's a lot of green in the desert on the way. You know, some really beautiful spots. We go past the Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
We drive right past that, so that's cool. And you know, you get this windy road, and you have the big mountains in front of you. It's nice. It's kind of a fun drive.
Yeah.
We stayed at Trump International, of course.
Right.
Of course.
And we got a great upgrade to the penthouse. They charge us, hey, relax. They upgraded us to the pen. Yeah.
Didn't you put a bag on the counter?
Yeah, I put a bag on the counter to get the upgrade. I don't know. Scott said that was the reason. I don't think that was it. She was very nice. Yazzie, she was very good behind the desk. She was very helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So, all right. Well, today's a big day for me because I'm getting my silver, which I'm excited about.
Don't announce it. Don't tell anybody.
No, I know. It's gonna go somewhere else safe and sound. But I'm excited.
Yeah, keep that to yourself. Matt,
Yeah.
did you hear, I heard you talking about there was an XRP glitch. $43,000 XRP glitch.
Yeah, Scott showed me the clip. It went for like a split second. It went to like 43,000 or something.
Really?
Yeah, something crazy. So I saw the glitch. There was somebody, I guess, screenshotted it or whatever. And you never know. It could be somebody just making it up. But yeah, supposedly that happened. I mean, we'll see what happens with XRP. I mean, I got a little bit of it. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think Theta is a good one. THETA.
Okay.
Theta. You can get that on Uphold. I think Uphold's probably the only one that you can get it on in the United States.
Not even Coinbase?
Not on Coinbase. Uphold.
Interesting. Well, there's all kinds of rules and regulations and bullshit in New York with a lot of these sites, with a lot of this. I mean, I couldn't buy XRP for the longest time through New York.
Interesting.
Yeah, for years.
Well, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with Reggie Middleton. He's the one who invented
Veritasium.
Yeah, Veritasium. He's basically responsible for decentralized finance. And all these big banks and corporations are using his technologies, and he's not getting anything from it. He should be a multi-billion. He should be the wealthiest man in the world.
Wow.
But they just take it from him, and there's nothing you can do. They just steal his ideas and steal his technology, and there's no recourse. I'd imagine we'll be seeing him in the news here in the next months or years.
Yeah, because Bix Ware talks about him all the time. I was trying to get hold of some Veritasium, but nowhere to store it. Really, you can't put it.
I actually have a client who knows him personally, who vacationed with him.
Yeah,
really?
And knows him. Yeah, he liquidated some Bitcoin at some point and bought some gold. But yeah, he's a big deal. I think we'll start seeing guys like that in the news, and people that hey, this is just another person from We the People who literally changed the world with his technologies. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
amazing, isn't it? Because we haven't really heard or seen anything of him for a few years.
But it's heating up. It's heating up here in Arizona. It's a little overcast today, but it's getting hot. We came back to 107. So
Woo.
Perfect.
So let me ask you, what's the best time of year to be out where you are, like where it's reasonably?
I would say probably November through April.
Okay.
So November, December, January, February, March, April. Yeah, about 6 months of the year. It's great. Summers are brutal.
Yeah.
I kind of want to move up north. Hopefully I can do that. My office lease is up in about a year and a half, so I might just take my shop up north and just go up there. I don't know.
Where? What part are you considering?
I like Prescott. I like Sedona. Sedona's a little bit weird because you get a bunch of the liberal weirdos up there.
Yeah.
But those areas, even Flagstaff, Flagstaff's really nice. I've gone snowboarding up there during the winter, which is nice.
Do they
a lot
have
of people don't realize, but
seasons?
Yeah, like during the winter up there, it snows, because it's at a much higher elevation. Flagstaff, I think, is about 7,500 feet.
Oh, wow.
Prescott's about 4,500 feet, and Sedona is somewhere around there too. But Sedona is beautiful. It's just it's very expensive. And like I said, you get kind of the weirdos up there, the liberal weirdos. Like John McCain had a house up there. All the Oprah, all these different, deep state operatives, they all live in Sedona. They have a place in Sedona.
Well, it's very interesting because, it's a big vortex place, and we know about a lot of those ley lines and vortex places that it doesn't surprise me that a lot of these baddies and Satanists are situated in those areas.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Their houses are probably all linked by tunnels, aren't they? Anyway. Probably.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I just saw that story about Gene Hackman's home having the tunnels under it.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's crazy. It's a whole nother world that, when people find out about it, they're just going to be, their jaws are going to drop.
Yeah, well, these people all have blackmail on each other. You see, that's how they manage to keep their secrets because
exactly. So
that was we just had on Rachel Vaughn on our Monday Respect show. That's the one that we dedicate to anything related to trafficking, SRA, MK Ultra, and so she's from Australia, and that show was really interesting because she was talking about this whole I guess agenda. I don't know what else to call it, where it's all about the blackmailing of one another. And with these horrible, it's just so hard to wrap your hands around, like your head around all this stuff, really and truly. We could only hope that most of it from an industrial standpoint, at least in our country, has been taken down. We hope.
Yeah, well, they weren't able to get any blackmail on Trump, which leads me to believe that he's been prepped and primed for this for a very, very long time, because they literally have nothing on him. Nothing.
Yeah.
And they've tried, that's for sure.
Oh, they've tried. Yeah. I mean, they'll just make it up. But hopefully these people will get sued out of existence.
Well, hopefully. I mean, just quickly, Lisa, the fact that all these people are going Trump's in the Epstein files and stuff, that can't factor into their minds that if he was in the Epstein, they would have released him a long, long time ago, while they've been trying to get him on Russia, his tax returns and everything else. They couldn't get him on, And
here he is.
And exactly. All right. So back to precious metals. What is your advice for the next week, and thoughts on what, where things might be till the next time we, actually, we're not going to see him for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, because you're on holiday, so I'm taking a bit of time off as well. Elisa's going to Florida.
Oh, good. Good. Well, enjoy. I mean, I don't know. I don't sit here and try to make any predictions on prices. I just tell people to get their hands on the stuff. Clearly something big is going to happen. Get your hands on the stuff. What I've been actually doing lately, and I don't do this for my business. I do this for myself, but I've been buying up a lot of the 250th anniversary stuff. You can just go on the usmint.gov website. But, I just picked up the gold series, the proof sets, and the gold buffalo. I picked up a lot of the silver. I think those are really good buys. I think they're going to be something that, it's the semi-quincentennial year, 250th. Daphne, stop barking. She's got the most annoying bark, is the Chihuahua. Daphne. But I think those are good buys for people that, it's a one-off. I wouldn't go take your, savings and, somebody says, Matt, I got $100,000 I want to protect in gold and silver. I wouldn't go take that and go buy collectibles. But, if you want to go get a one-off, and that's something that I think will be a good buy, something that in time will have, some additional value other than the gold and the silver. I think this year's U.S. Mint sets are probably a good one. And I think Trump is coming out with a gold coin. And I think that might be like next month.
Really?
And they haven't announced the design or anything, but that's going to be one that's going to sell out like that. You're going to need to keep an account open. But I just picked up the bronze coin. They did a bronze coin at the Mint. And I picked up one of those. I'm wondering, it's just interesting that they're starting to put this stuff out. But these are, like I said, these are just collector items. These are just one-offs. I would not ever recommend somebody's coming to me with $100,000. This is not what you spend $100,000 on. This is something that you buy one-off and you're done.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Stu.
What's the price of a bronze coin compared to a silver coin? 1 ounce.
You're saying what?
What's the price of a bronze coin to a silver coin for an ounce?
They're more expensive. I think they're like $160.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, these are commemoratives. So just realize, these are collectibles. This is not stuff you want for practical gold and silver buying to protect money.
Yeah.
This is just fun and games. I just thought I'd mention it because, hey, some people out there might be interested in, having something, a nice little, nice little memory of this particular point in time. That's kind of how I look at things. That's why I buy George magazines, and a lot of this stuff from the past is because I look at it as, kind of breadcrumbs that have been, clues left in time.
physical assets.
Physical assets. Yep.
That are only going to appreciate, which is lovely.
And that's another thing I tell people is like, hey, if you want to make good investments, it doesn't have to be in crypto or gold and silver. You could go buy things like George magazines. Go buy, go spend $1,500 on a February 1997 survival guide to the future. I think that's a great buy. I think people will want that. That's literally a direct clue left in time that JFK Jr. left in 1997 for us to go back to and relate to that magazine. So I think it's money well spent, and I'd be happy to advise people in this area, and you wouldn't even need to pay me a commission. I'd do it for free.
Yeah, I'm not much of a reader, but I have been building a bit of a library over this last 4, 5, 6 years of books. Podcasters have been showing, this is really important and stuff. So I've got a really extensive library of all this stuff that,
It's great.
Can I just ask you about stable coins? Because I don't really understand them. I believe stable coins, the value doesn't go up and down. So is it worth people investing in things like USDT?
Well, they say that Trump's going to move the system through stable coins into a digital backed or a gold and silver backed system using a digital interface. Sure. I mean, that could be something. I mean, hey, I always tell people, like, have a little bit of everything. Have the XRP, have gold and silver. I definitely make gold and silver your leading strategy. And I don't say that because I sell the stuff. I say it because it's in your hand. It's a guarantee insofar as you have it on your person. It's real. The crypto space is so volatile, and there's probably guys and companies out there that are getting ready to enter the marketplace at that right time. And hey, maybe they turn around and make XRP completely irrelevant. Right? Somebody could do that. So I'm just very cautious with the crypto space. I'm definitely a believer in it, and I've taken, a little position in it. But I think hands down, gold, silver, platinum, palladium.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with crypto, and I am far from an expert, I think you either have to have the long-term view of certain things in hopes, like a lot of people feel about XRP because it's the rails and all that kind of stuff, or you treat it almost like the stock market where you're selling, buying and selling, and you're making profits like along the way. It's a way to turn cash and make money. And I know some people who do very well with that, but you're not really getting attached to any particular
Absolutely.
one.
I'm a long-term guy. I'm
pretty much the same way.
That's it.
The other way is gambling. It's just gambling. I mean, you could get lucky and you could hit a trend and you make a couple of thousand or whatever, you make some, but I'm kind of the same way as you. I like to look at this more from investment standpoint, and that is long-term. You're not going to, like, all of a sudden next week make money. But I think I know some people who do that with crypto, and God bless them. They make some money.
Absolutely.
And I don't have that I don't have that tenacity and mindset, and I also don't know that much about it enough to, like, make intelligent decisions. So that's why I feel so much better with the silver at this point.
Yeah, and I don't understand the crypto ecosystem well enough to really
Me too.
feel comfortable making those trades. I'm certainly learning, but yeah, I think, if you stick with a couple of cornerstones, whether that be XRP or for some people it's Bitcoin, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But like I said, I mean, I really think gold and silver is the place to be. It really is. Yeah. In your possession, boom, we ship it to you, right? Or you go into a store locally, you pick it up, you walk out with it. To me, that's smart investing at this particular period of time. That's probably going to change here in the future. Gold and silver will have its run. And then, hey, we cash it out. We go put our money back into markets and keep it moving. Hopefully by then you have a gold and silver backed system. There won't be any reason to hold physical gold or physical silver because their system will be based on it. And that's hopefully the end goal here.
Yeah. Definitely. I just wanted to ask you, now we keep hearing about quantum and things, and Elisa and I have discussed it in the past, that potentially with this new system and this new world we're moving into is going to be some sort of conscious system where it can tell whether you're a good person or not. And we were watching Scott Mackay and Brad Wozni yesterday, and he he was basically saying that they're able to take a photo of people. It's called a cardiac ID, and auric photography, which they've been doing for 20 years, that can tell whether your intentions are good or not, whether we can see your aura and stuff. So I imagine, there's a lot of people out there, bumholes, are going to be going like that if this is the case for the future,
I certainly hope not. I mean, that's a technology that could be very badly corrupting of our system and society, because, I think you're a nice guy, Stu. I think your intentions are great, but you know what? If I didn't like you or I wanted to go after you in some shape or form, and I had the power to do it, I'd put you in that system. It's, that would be a nightmare. That'd be hell on earth.
Yeah.
Well, the way it's described is not so much, I want to say, a human kind of a thing. It's based on frequency. So I get it. You can corrupt any system, no question. But I think I guess the good part of it is that you probably have a lot of cabal or former cabal, that have a lot of Zim notes and, trillions of dollars in foreign currency, or, and they want to, let's use that as an example. And then you go in and you want to, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of what we've been trying to do, to take the wealth and the power and the control away from the people. And I don't mean bad, like, I think we're talking like evil. We're talking evil. Where
to root out the criminals, basically.
Evil, because there's criminals and those people, you throw them in jail, whatever. And then there's evil entity type people.
No, I get it. I look at this stuff and I think it's a very slippery slope.
I agree.
I wouldn't want any technology like that ruling over me. I just want to live my life. That's why I want to go up to Prescott or Sedona and just be more secluded, get away from large cities. I lived in New York City. I lived in LA. Now I live in Phoenix, basically. And for me, I think living in the middle of the woods sounds the most appealing. Yeah. And I love people. You see, I get along with everybody, but I think big piece of property, some acreage, build a nice house on it. You got it made. Bring the dogs,
garden,
bring the guns.
Make your own toothpaste.
Exactly. Be self-sufficient. That's where I think things are headed. I think these big cities, the stock market's moving out of New York. New York's going to get decimated when the financial industry moves out of there. They're moving down to Texas at some point. The world's going to look very different, and these big cities are going to fall under their own weight.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you, because I'm looking in Florida, but we're looking in, some of the smaller beach towns that have ordinances. You can't build any higher than this. They have limitations. And I don't want to be in those areas, those bigger cities. It's just, I'm on Long Island, and you're here, go back 20 years. The crowds, the traffic, you can't live here anymore. It used to be a retreat from the city. It's not anymore.
It's not anymore. No, it's unfortunate. When I went back, look, I love Long Island. I love the people of Long Island. It's my home. It's where I grew up. But I said to myself, I'm like, I would never want to move back here. I wouldn't want to go back there.
Yep. It's tough.
Well, this is their agenda, wasn't it? To get people out of urban areas and push everyone into the city, 15-minute cities and stuff. So people are more easily controllable.
Yep. And now what's happening? The reverse is happening. People are getting out of the big cities, and moving to more remote areas. So it's kind of nice to see that their plan is completely going in reverse, right? That's kind of encouraging.
Well, if we do see money getting or anything coming, whereas I am able to purchase.
He's coughing.
Yeah, it's my little chihuahua. She's coughing on something. I don't know.
But she's right.
Yeah.
So if I am able at any stage to purchase property out there, I think one of the first things I'll do, Matt, is come see you for some shooting lessons. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I've got a lot of my weapons. I got to go through the ATF to get them because they're highly regulated. Like you couldn't buy what I have in New York and places like that.
Yeah.
But Arizona's cool like that, Florida is cool. Texas, I think people should really, like, what drives me nowadays are your gun rights. Where are the states with the best gun rights are probably the places you want to live, because a lot of attitudes, a lot of other things will start to follow suit based on something as simple as gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like suppressors, silencers, right? You screw on the end of your barrel to make it's like, that's for hearing protection. Sure, they look cool and whatnot, but it really saves your hearing when you're shooting long range. It's not like in a long range rifle, a silencer is going to make your gun completely silent, but it drowns out the sound. So you still have your headphones on, your earmuffs to protect your ears, but it just makes it so that after a couple hours of shooting at the range, your ears are not ringing.
Yeah.
So really it's a matter of health and safety or suppressors, but for some reason our government regulates these things like no other. They should be available to anybody who wants them.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, this was great. It's always great to be on with you. We'll see what the next week brings. We got a couple of, dates, not that we're date fagging, but just it's an event, right? On Sunday. We'll see what happens. We're that much closer to July 4th. I don't know. We don't like to get too excited, but it's hard not to be anticipating. So
yeah,
totally.
Are we in boom week? What's going to happen on May the 17th? Prayer day, etc. Trump is now in China with Xi and that, and he's taken a lot of the big Silicon Valley mob with him, hasn't he? So that's very interesting.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on Trump. I always tell people, if you really want to know what's going on, watch Trump, listen to what he says, and you'll probably find the closest thing to truth listening to him and only him.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly that. I mean, whether we're seeing the real Trump out there a lot of the time or not, his Truth Social is the place to be. And if you don't understand some of the things Trump's saying, or the spelling mistakes, then you've just got to nip over to Absent Stormy and Dave and Rambo.
Exactly.
And they'll pick the arse out of it for you.
Yep, exactly. Well, thanks for having me today, guys. I appreciate the time.
Say hi,
and yeah, I will. He's in here somewhere. But we'll work on the event. We'll talk more. I'm going to talk to Donna on Thursday. We'll have more of a conversation. I'll try to get in touch with Dave.
Conversation that we're having on Friday at 2 Eastern, that we're going to get our little committee.
Yep, I'll be there.
Okay, so we'll chat it all out then.
Yeah.
And figure it all out. And then we will let you know, because we're going to be gone. Actually, what are we gone for? 2? I can't remember. One Wednesday. So we're probably going to skip a week.
Yeah,
2.
let me know.
Skip. Yeah, we'll let you know. I think it's the 27th, the next date, May 27th, but we'll let you know. Anyway, have a beautiful day. And
you too, guys. Thank you.
And we'll talk to you.
Talk to you soon.
We'll see you on Friday for us three, Joe, and fucking Ghana.
That's it. Fucking Ghana. All right, Stu. Bye.
Take care. See you later, Matt. Bye. Right, that was excellent. So that's it. We should just wrap up there, shall we?
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more to discuss. We've got Patrick Donaldson tomorrow, haven't we?
Our last show before vacay.
Well, I'm doing one more and I join the queue. And then
yes, yours. That's great. I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry, because I'm a mod on that, so I keep forgetting. Well,
you're going to be having your own show soon with Laura Eisenhower anyway, aren't you? And
yes.
Joining you?
A little preview. We're at this point supposed to be launching in June. It's called Rising Rising to Motherhood. And it's basically myself, Laura Eisenhower, Emily Tirani. We're all coaches, but we coach in different aspects. We're also all moms. We also have been through divorce. And so, we thought it would be really interesting to talk about the idea of spirituality, astrology, coaching, just the pressures and the joys of being mothers, what that means in light of a lot of things that are going on in our lives, different stages. We're all at different stages of our lives. So we're hoping to launch that, and then that can be seen. Of course, we'll upload to Patriots Across the Pond, but it'll be on Elisa V Unscripted, which is Rumble and YouTube. And we'll give you more information as that happens. But yeah, we're going to see. We're doing kind of like a girly thing here.
Yeah. And we're not going live on Facebook anymore. not at present anyway, since they kicked me out of my account, which is still active, and it's really weird. But the 4 places we go live is Rumble, YouTube, my Twitter, Elisa's Twitter. But Rumble's the best place because that's where the best chat is, and that's where all the groovy cats are. There's a Tony there who's also a groovy cat watching on YouTube. So I didn't want to single anyone out there, but Rumble's the place to be because we still occasionally have a YouTube video taken down or censored, don't we? While we're live or while we're speaking or afterwards.
Always. Yeah, it's always something. You know, we played a video, we violated a copyright law. It's just
bullshit.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So
yeah.
This is the place, you know, Rumble is the place. And, you know, you could follow on X too. At some point, I think we're going to transfer probably to our Patriots. It's called @Patriots Across on X where you can follow. But we'll try to fix that and get that live at some point. I think we have to pay for it or some nonsense. So we just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, people. Look, it's, you know, the price is still down in gold, silver. We're not financial advisors or medical doctors or anything, but you know, a lot of us really do believe that the white hats are in control of this, and they're giving people that more and more opportunity to invest and, you know, maybe get a little bit of precious metals, you know, for yourselves before the hammer goes down. Because I've said before, I'd rather be 17 years too early than one day too late. Right?
Yeah. And just, I think I told everyone, look, you know, I just decided a couple of years ago to just buy, I didn't buy a lot. I think I bought like at the time it was like 40 ounces. So I probably spent at $20, whatever that is, per daughter. I don't know where that's going to be in a couple of years. You know, now they're 19. I did this like 4 or 5 years ago, 19 and 22. Another year or two, the price goes up. I don't know. That could buy them a nice condo, you know, a down payment on a condo. It could help start my daughter's practice, you know. Who knows? The point is, you don't have to be intimidated. Like sometimes when Matt talks about his clients, $100,000 and all this stuff and flipping IRAs, that's great. You know, I turned my IRA over, but just small ways. You don't know what's going to happen, and you just put it away or you give it as a gift, and that could make a lot of difference in someone's life, including yours.
Especially if you've got a little safe at home or anything, or sort of vault you trust, you know, because it's, you can have £1,000 or $1,000 worth of cash, or the same in, you know, silver, gold or silver. You know, if you only got $1,000, silver's probably a better bet. Right. But you've still got the same amount, whether it's sitting there in silver or whether it's sitting there in the dollar. And what we're seeing potentially is that fiat currency is only going to go downwards, right? And gold and silver is going to go upwards, you know. So there we go.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Well, we'll see everyone tomorrow for Patrick Gunnels.
10:30 Eastern, 3:30 UK.
Yeah. And where we go, when we go all. And I've got Matt's advert as the outro. So if you do want anything, give Matt a call. He's a legend.
He really is.
See you later, guys.
All right. Bye, guys. Love you.
Your financial advisor isn't going to tell you this. Your bank won't mention it. And your 401k custodian, they're hoping you never find out. You can convert your retirement account into physical gold and silver. Real metal in your hands or stored exactly where you decide. It's called a gold IRA rollover, and it's 100% legal, 100% IRS approved. And your financial quote experts, they don't get a commission when you take control like this. Wall Street wants your money in their system, in their accounts where they control it. But physical gold, that's yours. Can't be hacked, can't be deleted, can't vanish when the market crashes. Verity Metals, we're the experts. They don't want you to call. Convert your IRA or 401k into gold and silver that you can actually hold. Call 1-888-318-7598 and quote Patriots Across the Pond.